musicians, my name is Daniel Rubin and this is the third part of my tutorials about MIDI and Musescore. In the second part I talked about MIDI as a file format, as a transfer or exchange format, and as a platform also. And we talked about GPX as well, and I just checked my video when I talked to you about this, about GPX. The title is GPS, so I checked this and yes, it's GPX and it's called either way. So yes, and now today we're going deeper into Musescore editing. So maybe you remember this score. It's the air. Now, of course, I want to show you all kinds of editing operations, of course, but sometimes you have to be just clever and not work that hard. So what happened here actually, I went back to Musescore and found many versions. This is a version only for the flute. I downloaded another version here. It's now with count in. It sounds very nice. This is the flute version only, and this is our version, which of course includes all these. This make the sound very robust. Actually, this is the count in feature. That's why I actually like this version. I like it when you just turn it off and nothing happens. Yeah, exactly. So the sound here is really nice. Either I can change here the sound, either I can just copy paste the good part, because the flute part is messed up and I have no time and nerves for this, so I can bring it either from here or from here. It actually looks different. It's the same time signature, of course, but here it looks double the time. So I will take it from here. I just click here in the first bar, then I will use the navigator to go and with shift select all this. You can do copy paste, you can do it from the edit menu, and I'm coming back here. Actually it's with shift you select all this. Actually it will be better just delete it, don't make a mess, and paste. So it didn't do any complications because I edited only the flute part and I don't care about these. Just these are not nice, but I don't really care. They're written well. And now I have a very nice version with the correct notation, with the correct ornamentation. It's very nice. And I have this sound. The sound here is a bit thinner. But it's nice anyway. I have now two versions. I just actually opened up the play panel and the mixer like this. I told you that you can control this, you can collapse it. It depends what you want to see. So this is the count-in feature. It's very useful when you play with the computer. And this is the metronome. You can set it up, you can loop a part, and in the mixer, if you looking at the mixer now, you can see that it's changing by the sheet music I choose. So I usually collapse it totally, and you can still see it like this. It just takes too much space here. And same with the play panel, I don't need it to be large, I just wanted to show you. It's okay now. So remember, copy paste or looking up things can be good, you know, but anyway, I could just, you know, copy the problematic parts. It would also save me some time. You can do it, you can copy paste whole scores just by clicking heroes while pressing shift, clicking at the end but in the lowest, so it includes all of them. And now, as you see, it's still selected. You can do anything what you want with this. So this is the air of the G string. Another thing I wanted to talk about is you can sometimes you download a score and you have dynamics, which I don't like because this is Baroque music and I don't think it's really needed here. So what you can do is select it, then right click and say select all similar elements and hit delete. And the same goes with this, right click, select all similar elements. You choose all similar elements in same stuff when it's more than one stuff, of course, and you don't want to mess up the others. Delete. Just as well, you can select the page breakers, the pages and the line breakers if you don't like them. It's a very nice feature. Or similar elements. So we clean this up. And another thing, this is the inspector. So if you're having still some problems with the volume, I mean it stayed kind of weird, you can do Control A or Command A, select all, then just be more specific. Here inspector gives you information, so I want to know information about the notes only, and it jumps me up. Now what interests me here is velocity, which is usually 110. By default, this is the volume of every note, of each note. So if you had some problems, do just this way, and either you have already this value, if not, you can fix this. So probably now I muted, of course, my recorder part. So this is also a thing. Now let's say we want to make a new score. Okay. A treble one. Let's say that it's clean. Next. Okay. Absolutely default. Right. So of course, Musescore is not only great for media accompaniment, but also for writing down sketches quickly, or to compose here, because the drag and drop feature makes it really quick. Here you also have keyboard shortcuts for this, default ones, which are very cool. And you also can actually you can customize those shortcuts totally by your liking. So that's why I said that Musescore is a fantastic program. I learned it myself in a half a day and just understood its logic and then went further. So let's say you want to compose a little song. So what you do is come to note input, or N, and it will give you this one in blue. That means these are layers. These are layers of 4 voices, totally independent voices, and this is for clearer working. It's a bit similar to layers in Photoshop, of course, but yes, separation is clearly needed when you working. So let's say this is usually the melody. Let's say I want to write a small melody. Now I go like manually here. Manually you can go. Now I'm using my keyboard. This is 6, 7, 6, 5, 4. It's very comfortable if you get used to it. But now it didn't work for a while. So here we go. I have my melody. I can actually, I just want to show you more features. So yes, I will put a bar line here, and then just go out for a second. I want to select this bar and flip the direction of it, because I actually don't need to do it, because if you add some buses it will jump up, but this is the tool for that. Now it's usually important that you select, of course, where you're working. So I select this bar, and again note input, but now I choose the second layer, which is green. This is the bus. So I will write the bus now. I'm choosing my values. Of course you can choose the rest. Just first you choose the value and then the rest. You will have it. You will have it in the bus, because the melody is complete there. So I just uncheck this, and let's say I go like this. You know, I don't want to compose right now, I just want to show you how it works. You have no idea what I'm doing. So here we go. Now another important thing is, how do you delete bars and select them? and Command delete or Control delete. Usually when you're adding tabs, insert one measures, then need to insert it before your measure. It's actually not so comfortable, and you can do it here as well. Insert one measure or insert measures, and you can add as many as you wish. It's of course very important. Now time signature is already fixed, but you can change it and it will change of course accordingly. Instant drag and drop, and it will break it up. You have 3 here, so it will put a line there. Let's hit an undo. So these are the time signatures. It's usual when you making a new document, you will choose it in the beginning. You have the key signatures. Of course, you also set it usually in the beginning, but you can of course just drag it here and it adds clefs. Also, you can simply just drag onto this treble clef and you have a plus. Everything goes to bus. He writes it now in bus. Now it's actually very high for a bus. So always the drag and drop. Of course, these are not drag and drop. These are either by clicking or either by keyboard activated. And remember, advanced is always better than basic. You have more options. The grace notes are just nice. Okay, you have the arpeggios, breaths and pauses you use when you are a wind player. So here you go. You have a breath pause here. You can move it so you will see it better. It's worth to go through all this and explore it for yourself. Dynamics and don't really use. You can see this because you drag it onto something, so it's just showing the linking. Of course it works. So I play mostly early music and I don't use this. Fingering, I don't really use this. Repeats and jumps. Tempo, of course, I use it a lot. It's always best to fix it in the beginning, your tempo. Of course, you have all the options. It's 4, it's 8. Text. You can do some custom text, of course, if you want something to write down here. You have the text. It's either system text or staff text. Alright. So you have to choose a note. Remember, it's a bit complicated. Then click outside of it. Then you go system text and you say and you write what you ever want to write. So this is text. Breaks and spacers, we already seen it, except this one section. I don't use that. This is also a spacer. You double click here and you make some more space manually. If it's, you know, if it's not working out as you wanted, then you have this total manual control. And of course you see it's many things that very specific. So what else I could show you? Well, of course, let's get back a little bit to layers. So you see, I can continue this and give now another layer. Choose my value. And it will calculate what's going on. It's already put the rests here, as you can see. Still a half rest there, so it waits for me. I really don't care what I'm now writing, but you get the picture. So now we have 3 layers with different colors, base usually in the green, then the treble or the melody, the blue, and I rarely get to this third one. So you must remember that when you're working with it, you're working with your layer and you don't mess up others. You can, you know, customize it as you wish. How should it look? You can also change this. Well, actually, when it's off, you can change then. So I want to do a different melody and I change it. It will change immediately. It will put the rest. And I'm planning here to put a little more. Now I can go to note input again. I'm on the right value. And I can just fill this in, these sections. So now instead of quarters, I have eighths. And I created here a melody change. Or also, if I want to change this, I just change the value of it. And then I can continue. You can also drag these either by arrow up and down. It will go up and down by half notes. Either by just dragging it. So actually I changed my mind and I said no, I will do this bass and we'll do this melody. So it will be cooler. So it's not worth listening to it, but not worth saving it as well. Just a reflex. So here we got a really basic, again it's still basic editing, but we got through almost all of these tools. and yes, you just drag it and then you reposition it, the grace note. We really saw almost all of these tools and all of these tools. It's really, you know, if you want to go into composing, you will have to be much serious. I'm not saying I'm a pro at Musescore, but my knowledge, I think, can be useful for a few of you. That's why I did these tutorials, and I always be happy to answer your questions. I think I will finish this now. So have a good time. Bye.